Well, here at Aurora for this week's Bushel Up, there's several things we want to talk about today. We'll start off with, what's going on in the field. There's a lot of activity. That week before the 4th of July, there's always a side dress finishing up. We're trying to get those last dicamba spraying on our beans as we run up against that deadline. Obviously, we're having to irrigate in areas that haven't caught rain. So it's a mixed bag out here. Actually, here at Aurora, right now we're putting on our fungicide application along with BMO and N-ACCRUE, trying to help this hailed corn out a little bit. It's been about 10 days since we were hailed here, going on 2 weeks. And so we're finally seeing some regrowth. These plants have been set back. And I do want to talk about that a little bit. I know some of these hailed fields that we left, we're really seeing those leaves really stacked in here. You'll see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaves stacked. So when we run the GDUs on these, or we actually split them, we're really looking at V8, V9, even pushing V10 corn, and it's only knee high. And so we got to be careful. I know the temptation is to think it's small, but we got to watch what we're doing with herbicides and all those things. We don't cause more, heap more pain on an already difficult situation. So watch that. That's something we're having to watch. This corn's much further along than what it looks like as I stand here, and it's about knee high. So we are seeing some growth though, and we have everything from replant scenarios where that two-leaf corn now did come out of the ground in 4 or 5 days down at Hastings where we replanted. And so we'll continue to monitor those, push those crops along. Again, like we said before, check with us. On the insect front, we're seeing several things happen. We are picking up some rootworm larvae just in that second instar stage. Pretty small yet, a little difficult for us to really gauge pressures yet, but that feeding will become pretty evident here. If you have a problem, we can start counting some of these larvae as they get into that second, third instar. They're a little easier to find. Tessa behind the camera right now is dodging Japanese beetles. Kind of funny to watch her here. They have emerged here in the last week. Right now, the nice thing is they're all going to the volunteer corn out here, but we'll see where they move as they build pressures here. Keep an eye on your soybeans, keep an eye on these earlier corn plants, and we'll watch what feeding they do and keep you updated. So far, I haven't heard of any disasters out there, but we know what happens about a week, 2 after they emerge. Finally, we're seeing soybeans, we're hitting that bloom stage, R1. For the white mold treatments, a lot of those are starting to go on. That early shot of fungicide, if that's a concern. And so we'll be monitoring that. We're also watching for some insects showing up in beans. Also had several reports of quite a bit of feeding on alfalfa fields. So, we got to keep an eye on all our crops. And if you have any questions, we're here to help. We look forward to talking to you next week. Again, wish everybody a good week. I know everybody's running pretty hard. Talked to several growers here today. Not sure which way to go, right? But we'll get it all done. Be safe. We're kind of the same way here, and we look forward to talking to you next week. And if we don't see you or talk to you before then, have a good, happy 4th of July.